Hey guys, Kate 420. I'm back. And listen, this is a very important video. If you're busy and you're going to hear bits and pieces, or you're not going to have time to pay attention, right now is not the time, because this is a super important video for your children, for you, for your personal health, for your family's health. Um, there's always an agenda at play with these people. And yet again, there's an agenda. Oh, who likes my addition? So I had some comments about, oh, so now you're a Trump. I voted for Trump in 2016. I don't have any qualms about saying that. I don't regret it. I don't agree with him 100%, but I tell you what, it's out of the 3 presidents I voted for, I'm the happiest right now. That tells you anything. Oops, sorry guys, it's supposed to Well, guys, that was supposed to play automatically. I guess that's not going to happen this time. I'll figure it out, though. You watch. Let's start. This is important. In the last couple Democratic debates, I'm sure everybody's been watching the way I've been watching, which is with a good eye at what's going on and how they've all basically globbed onto each other, all of each other's dumb uh, ideas, fantasies. However, this eating less meat or banning burger or whatever they're trying to start pushing now, this is not a 2019 thing. This is an agenda, and we are at a turning point where if people don't wake up and see what's happening and see the agenda and see how they're using food to control we know the population's booming. We know that we're not going to have enough food. So what evil secret things do you think your government and your country has done to make sure that certain people don't make it that long based on stuff that they allow in food? Or maybe we just start making people feel so guilty that they all get on one type of food and we control that food. And I'm going to show you how they have done this in a matter of a decade. Let's go. The Guardian. So, UN urges global move to meat and dairy free diet. This, guys, was in 2010. This was when the UN, they meet once a year, and they always have, they basically make reports on each things globally, what is the best thing we can do to impact climate change. Lesser consumption of animal products is necessary to save the world from the worst impacts of climate change. The article is more than what? 9 years old. Okay, guys, so in 2010, the UN was already urging us to get off meat because they knew there wouldn't be enough meat to feed everyone in the world at the rate we were going. So here we are, 2019. The UN just met August 8th. Plant based diet can fight climate change. That's their new bam. So now, and not just don't eat meat or dairy. Not now. It's everything has to be plant based. Follow your neighbor and the people who are on The View because they are eating the way we want. If you don't eat that way, then you are going to be unhealthy and die early and not have energy because but we're also going to make the price of this plant-based diet absolutely ridiculous, and we're not going to tell you about the ingredients. So then here, this is about the end of last month. It's, so the UN came out with this plant-based thing, and then what happens? All of our local media starts to pick it up. Here's a USA Today story on plant-based diet. Hold on here. And it's 7 strategies to put your diet on a plant-based path. And this is just here, September 3rd, guys. So in a month from the UN suggestion, this is one of many, many, many articles I came across about plant-based diets. Come on. Do. Sorry, guys. I don't know. It's just having a moment or something. There we go. WebMD. Let's go. Come on. Sorry, I had to reload it, guys. This is really important. Stick with me because wait until you find out what what's that? Bill Gates. Oh my gosh, what Bill Gates is doing? He's part of this. So all of the billionaire Silicon Valley freaks are all part of this. So it's ridiculous because they want to live forever. They want to have robot parts put in them, and they want to know exactly what things that we're eating, that are causing them to be not healthy, so on and so forth. I just wanted you to see this soy thing real quick on WebMD, but it's taking forever to load. Anyway, it's regarding men. Okay, now think about it. If you've got a population problem, and you can't obviously morally in the United States just go around and genocide, half your 81% of the population, which is what they said would need to be. 81% of the population would basically need to die all at once in order for the generations that are all coming up now to be able to not struggle to eat. So anyway, uh, soy is a big deal, and that was when it first came out. It was the answer to everything. This is what they feed everyone in prisons. This is what they feed all government funded detention centers. All of their meats are soy. Soy foods have been found to a sperm concentration link. Study links soy foods to low sperm concentration. Here, soy food industry critical of this study. Yeah, well, it's not the only study. There's multiple studies. Uh, Now this was in 2008. This study was, but there's numerous ones since. Men who eat a lot of soy foods have a lower sperm concentration than men who don't. But the study published doesn't claim soy foods are to blame for those, which most of us were still in a normal most of which were still in a normal range. Meanwhile, soy food industry is drawing attention to the study's limits. The study's data came from 99 men who visited Massachusetts General Fertility Center with their partners. Men submitted semen samples and completed a questionnaire, including a question of how often they'd eaten 15 different soy foods and how much of those foods they ate in the last 3 months. Almost all of the men, 90%, had sperm concentrations that were in a normal range. 42% of men had normal semen analysis, which includes sperm shape and motion, in addition to sperm concentration. So, hang on, most of the men, 39, said they hadn't eaten any soy during the previous 3 months. Another 18 said they ate soy foods less than twice a week. 22 said they had soy foods twice a month and twice a week. And 20 said that they had soy foods at least twice a week. Men who ate soy foods, tended to have lower, but still normal in most cases, sperm concentrations than men who ate no soy foods. That was especially true of overweight and obese men. Soy foods weren't associated with any other aspect of the semen analysis, such as sperm shape or movement. Recent studies have linked soy to breast growing breasts in men and boys. All right. So let's talk about the Impossible Burger. It has to come up because it's the answer to every person's fear of, well, I want to start eating something that's better for me, but I don't want to give up the foods I like. This was their answer, and the answer is very dangerous. Um, Let me make sure this is in a video. I don't want to, because they never play on here anyway. So, this is the Impossible Burger 2.0. How do you get it? Is it safe? And where can you use something? There we go. Let me shut that off. Where can you get it? Sorry. How does it taste? Yeah, I read a lot of reviews on this Impossible Burger, guys. I haven't ate one. I refuse to because I know what's in them. But I did read a lot of reviews. This is a plant-based burger that looks and tastes like real beef, but there is a catch. And there is, and that's the problem. People don't talk about these catches. Traditional meat-free burgers are made from a combination of soy, beans, and lentils, and a texture is nothing like beef. The Impossible Burger is here to change that. The Impossible Burger from Impossible Foods, which I did have impossiblefoods.com on here. I was going to show it to you today. I decided not to because I felt like putting their website in this video would be promoting it, and I don't agree with them. Although they do have a very interesting website for those of you who are interested in looking into this plant-based diet. At least you need to, the one thing I can say is you need to know everything. You need to know what's in the food you're eating. It shouldn't be hidden from you. Anyhow, the Impossible Burger from Impossible Foods has everything a meat lover looks for in a burger: a slightly pink middle, juicy dribbles, a smoky flavor, and the ability to get the characteristically charred crust only a grilled burger can offer. This meatless patty even bleeds like beef. In fact, vegetarian CNET reporter Joan Solzman found it to be so meat-like she couldn't even finish her sample. After not eating beef for more than a decade, she mumbled through a mouthful, "It's kind of grossing me out." The other thing that might put you off about this meatless burger, it's created in a lab, not in green pastures. So, what is the Impossible Burger? All right, what's in it? Impossible Foods unprecedented burger concoction is built on 4 ingredient foundations: protein, fat, binders. Remember these words, guys, and flavor. The protein is an in an Impossible Burger isn't animal flesh. Rather, it's a blend of soy and potato proteins. This is different from the Impossible Burger 1.0, which used wheat protein. The Impossible Burger 2.0 is gluten free. Soy has had a bad reputation with some, but Impossible's VP of Nutrition has some thoughts about common soy myths. You can click on there if you like. As I said, always do your own research. Don't just jump on something because it's viral or it's the thing to do, because you very much could be putting your family at risk. The juicy sizzle when an Impossible Burger hits the pan or grill comes from coconut and sunflower oil, the burger's fat sources. To hold everything together, remember those binders? Impossible Foods uses methyl cellulose, a bulk forming binder. Glue, guys, it's glue. It's glue. But it's a great source of fiber, don't worry. But it's glue, just so you know. And there's been multiple tests of this glue not being digested, it building up in one's intestines. As for flavor, Well, this is where things get interesting. Impossible Foods employs Hemi is the main flavor in compound in this burger. Hemi is an iron containing compound found in all living organisms, plants, animals, bacteria, fungi. If it's alive, it contains Hemi. In animals, Hemi is an important part of the protein in hemoglobin, which carries oxygen throughout your body via your blood. Know how your mouth tastes metallic when you accidentally bite your lip? That's Hemi. In plants, Hemi still carries oxygen. Just not via the blood. The Impossible Burger contains Hemi from the roots of soy plants in the form of a molecule called leg hemoglobin. Food scientists insert DNA from soy roots into a genetically modified yeast where it ferments and produces a large quantity of soy Hemi. GMOs also have a bad rap. I wonder why. Read what this scientist has to say about GMOs. She says they don't cause cancer, autism, or any other illness they're claimed to cause. Great. Click on it. I suggest you read it. This is all cnet.com. How to the Impossible Burger, everything you need to know. I can't put stuff in the description because of the video uploader that I use. It doesn't allow me that option. I'd have to go to YouTube and get it in the dashboard and do it separately, which is just a pain in the you know what. Anyhow, what does it taste like? The short answer, the Impossible Burger tastes like beef. Remember the vegetarian whose stomach was repulsed by the Impossible Tartar? That's because it tastes, smells, and feels like real beef. For vegetarians and vegans, and probably the average omnivore, the Impossible Burger is an incredibly similar substitute for beef. For beef connoisseurs and picky eaters, Impossible is getting close but may still have work to do. Where can I get an Impossible Burger? Impossible rolled out the 2.0 or Burger 2.0 in only about a dozen restaurants shortly after CES 2019, which I have no idea what that is. Since then, the company has made it available to all of its partners, and there are more locations serving Impossible Burger in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City, Chicago, and many other big cities where they can flood you with glue and never mind. Even if you don't live in or near a big metro area, you can still find Impossible Burgers. Many national chain restaurants are going to have them or already do, including Burger King, Red Robin, um, White Castle, Umami Burger. Little Caesars is the first pizza chain to put Impossible Burger sausages on pizza, which is available in select locations. You can use the Impossible Foods location finder to locate Impossible Burgers near you. By the end of the year, Impossible plans to offer a raw version of its ground beef patties in grocery stores. After encountering manufacturing troubles in June of 2019 that led to an Impossible Burger shortage, the company launched a partnership with food provider OSI Group to help roll out the Impossible Burger at every Burger King in the country and stock grocery stores in September of 2019. Impossible Foods hasn't yet announced exactly what grocery stores will sell their products, but in a few months you'll finally be able to cook the coveted burger at home. I'm not gonna watch the video because it never seems to work. So, um, while I'm recording, how much does it cost? Well, here we are, right? I need to take a drink. Hold on. Prices for the Impossible Burger vary from location from location to location. Okay. But these deceivingly meaty plant-based burgers generally costs more than a regular beef burger at Red Robin. An Impossible cheeseburger costs $13.49. Excuse me. I just basically my heart. Whoa, that's an expensive burger, y'all. That's an expensive not burger. While the gourmet cheeseburger made of beef cost $9.99. Impossible plans to roll out a raw version in grocery stores at a price comparable to prices for USDA premium ground beef. Is it safe? You can safely eat a burger unless allergic to soy, coconut, or sunflower. The ingredients in Impossible Burgers are simple and free of toxic additives, flavoring, or artificial ingredients. We're going to hop over to another article that gets into a little bit more, maybe not so selling you the Impossible Burger. Here's someone who ate an Impossible Burger. How do I know? Here we go. I'll show you. There was an article he did before it right here, and it just talks about the difference between the Impossible Burger 1 and Impossible Burger 2. So this one's a little bit newer. I'd like to talk about the ingredient in the Impossible Burger. Why glyphosate is dangerous and how to avoid eating it. Well, glyphosate should, I mean, we, I guess, us parents, we count on the FDA and the people who are in charge of our foods and medicines to make sure that they aren't cutting corners so that companies can cut costs because or in expense of our health, because we are the consumers, and if you kill us off you're going to lose money. So regardless, they have to have like a 50-50 thing here. So they put enough of something in there that it takes a while of it building up before it causes. Glyphosate is a broad spectrum herbicide sold under the name of Roundup. You've heard of these lawsuits, guys. It was first sold to farmers in 74 by Monsanto, recently acquired by Bayer. Since the 70s, glyphosate based herbicides, GBHs, have increased approximately 100-fold by volume, although some estimates put it at 300-fold. Why glyphosate use? Why has it spiked like this? The reason for this dramatic increase is likely two-pronged. It says, after the introduction of Roundup, farmers began using more and more weed killer to make life on the farm a bit easier, killing off invasive insects and species of weeds that could threaten crop yields. And in the 90s, Monsanto launched their genetically modified Roundup Ready soybeans and carried out a very active and aggressive campaign to get more farmers to use these seeds. The purpose of these seeds is to allow everything else around them to be sprayed with pesticide without killing the cash crop. Roundup could then be used liberally on the fields without the GMO crops dying. Over time, the emergence of glyphosate resistant, just like everything else, when you overuse something like an antibiotic, whatever, it becomes resistant, right? Weeds have become widespread, and this has led to farmers using a greater volume of Roundup. It goes on. The numbers are insane. The link to cancer is there. Lots, guys. There's $289 million in lawsuit damages right now. That's just one. There's lots. Okay, so that's a huge concern, and that's been going on for some time. The next thing I've noticed, at the same time they're pushing plant-based, I know that I'm not the only one that saw this, because go to Truth Stream Media. What is the girl's name? I know Melissa Dykes, Melissa and Aaron Dykes, a couple. They did an amazing video on this, guys. I was on the edge of my seat watching her to go through this video. But she did a video on how they are literally still almost Project Monarchy, like MK Ultraing us with their freaking ads and crap. But now it's with tweets. Now look, this is crazy. Like, I should have recognized this the first 5 times I saw these weird tweets from CNN. Gross. So, CNN International, CNN, right? Like, all their sites, you could go through, and Aaron and Melissa have an entire page that takes up the entire screen of screenshots, and they're all tiny little squares from CNN, 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 and there's just, I can't even tell, maybe 12, 15 of them, and they are all tweets about eating insects. This is their next push. Is it time to start taking, or is it time to start taking eating insects seriously? A pop-up in Cape Town called the Insect Experience hopes to demystify eating insects by serving up a bug-based dishes plated with the same care and precision of a gourmet. Wonderful. Isn't that great? And there's about, if you Google that, you're going to find about 10 more. I picked this one just because it was the first, and I didn't want to make a whole chart for you guys. All of you are very wise and can look this stuff up for yourself. When I watch videos, when I'm researching stuff, when I'm going through articles, I'm always taking notes, especially when I'm listening to my favorite researchers about what they've gone through that day. If it's something I too am working on, I always have a notebook and a pen in my hand while they're talking, because they could have everything that I already have information wise, they could have, but they could have one piece of information that I didn't, and it could be that key to everything. Anyhow, eating insects. This is great. Business Insider, because this is how they get you. They got to get you uh from CNN's airport news. They got to do that. Then they got to hit the metrosexual who's reading Business Insider. Eating insects will soon go mainstream as bug protein is set to explode into an $8 billion business. Yeah, nothing like wagging a giant carrot in front of these. Here you go, guys. You're already Wall Street crooks, but if we can convince the public to eat insects, we will be rich. Sure, you will. And we will be dead because we could never survive off an insect diet. And it's pretty gross. I think they're just trying to get us to a point to see that, or to show us that everything that we were raised to think is taboo and not normal and not part of the way we were raised and taught to morally to be, and spiritually or whatnot. I think they want to undo all of that. I really do. Okay, guys. Oh, you're kidding me. Okay, no, I'm fine. Hang on. Here we go. This is Wired, guys. This is a magazine where you're going to find out a lot. Well, it wasn't a. This is a site where you're going to find out a lot about what Silicon Valley and their sneaky butts are doing. But you have to dig for yourself. They don't throw it out there and wave it in your face. But this is one of those sites that you could just type in about anything up in the search bar, topic wise, and you're going to get 2 or 3 articles on it, the topics that you and I and the rest of us tend to be interested in when it comes to technology. So this is what day do we got? Oh, we don't have a date. Oh, no dates. Okay, this was March, guys. March 20th, 7 a.m. The first gene edited food is now being served. You heard it. So now, I want you to think, where have we gone now since the beginning of our trip? In 2009, the UN started with the whole, we can't eat meat or dairy anymore. We need to become vegetarians, vegans, whatever, all organic, all these things they threw at us from 2004 to 2009. So then it became plant-based. It was raw, plant-based, closer to 2017 and 18 became the impossible, and they've got a couple of competitors now that are pretty big. And then we get into the gene edited. Okay, this is where it gets deep. Don't go anywhere. I've got some of the grossest stuff to show you really quick. So, calyx is the first, it's like a soybean, but it's edited, and it's edited in a way so that it will grow regardless of the situation, weather-wise. It will grow regardless of the insecticide used on it. Here it is. Not long after Calyx moved into its shiny new glassy headquarters in the outskirts of Minneapolis, someone, what? What's her last name? All right, whatever. Anyway, I don't want to go through this whole article. It says, is this a medical marijuana facility? She asked, drifting to the rows of greenhouses. No, they weren't growing pot. They were growing something that was even more revolutionary and perhaps more controversial. Gene edited food crops. Farmers and breeders had been manipulating the DNA of plants for humans for millennia, but with a powerful new gene editing technology, over the last 5 years, scientists can now add or subtract plant genes with unprecedented precision, speed, and leaving. I just lost my place, guys. Anyway, it's crazy. All right, there we go. Companies big and small have adopted the technology to make products as disparate as climate change resistant cocoa, and extra starchy corn for adhesive. Again, glue. I love how they call it binders and adhesive, and it's glue. It's glue. It's food glue. Google food glue. They are using this in big restaurants now. They glue your freaking steaks together, pieces of them now, to make them look like they are more tender and falling apart. No, they're not. They're glued. Anyway, shoppers can't yet buy the oil, a product of the soybean plant that has been edited to produce fewer saturated fats, zero trans fats. But Calyx's CEO says that people are already eating it. The company's first client was a restaurant with multiple locations in the Midwest. It has begun using the oil to fry, make sauces, and dress salads. All right, let's keep going. The future. The future will be full of lab-grown meat. Deadass. Guys, our future looks like this petri dish right here. And that's ultimately what they need to get you comfortable with. But they have to do that in ways that make you feel guilty for eating cows or pigs, or all. You guys start feeling bad for the animal. You have to start feeling guilty for being hungry for a burger. Then you have to, have your presidential, candidates be out, all 10 or 11 of them that were out in this climate change forum, all saying they're going to ban, beef, ban eating beef, like limit your burger intake. I'm not sure. It says in 2013, the world's first lab-grown burger was unveiled to the world. It carried a $330,000 price tag. And apparently, it wasn't all that tasty. But the scientists behind the idea have been hard at work. An artificial meat that's both cost-effective and palliative may arrive sooner than we think. It's not just cow-free beef burgers on the future menu. Several groups around the world are attempting to clone chicken breasts and fish fillets as well. Why do scientists want to grow meat in vats instead of on animals? And how close are we to actually accomplishing? The big resource hog. The arguments for growing so-called cultured meat. That's what it is, guys. They always got a freaking name for everything to make everything sound so appropriate. Cultured meat, guys. It's cultured. So, you gotta love it. Anyway, ranging the reasons why people decide to become vegetarian or vegan. My dog's trying to steal half my bed. Come on, move over, fatty. There. She hears me talking about food, I think. Um, if you're not veg or vegetarian or vegan, you probably received a mouthful on this subject from a friend or family member, so I'm going to keep it brief and focus on the argument cultured meats proponents seem to embrace the most: sustainability. Okay, the meat industry is a huge contributor to humanity's footprint, accounting for 18% of our total greenhouse gas emissions. That number is deceptively low because it includes 40% of methane and 65% of nitrous oxide emissions, which are respectively 23 and nearly 300 times more potent climate change warming agents than carbon dioxide. What's more, the environmental footprint of livestock production is growing fast. By 2050, global meat production is projected to double from its 1999 levels, according to the where to go the FAO. At that time, the FAO writes the environmental impact per unit of livestock must be cut by half, just to avoid increasing the level of damage beyond its present level. If climate arguments aren't your MO, try this one on for size. Oh God. Animal agriculture is soaking up enormous portion of our arable land, drinking water, edible food, and combustible fossil fuel resources. According to a study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, livestock in the U.S. consumes more than 7 times as much grain as the American population, enough grain to feed about 840 million people. The same study finds that roughly 25 kilocalories of fossil fuel energy are consumed for every 1 kilocalorie of meat produced. That's a lot of numbers, guys, but you get what I'm saying. They're trying to push you towards this lab grown stuff by scaring you with huge numbers about chemicals and stuff that's going to be there in the future that you need to start preparing for now by doing this and that. And I get, like, I am not a climate change denier by any means. What I'm saying is, why does this all just happen to come out every time there's an election? Within 15 months of an election, this is when this craziness starts to come out. Yes, it's going on behind the scenes, but it always comes out like this, and then they make the people that question it feel like they're the crazy ones. It always comes out right during an election season, and I don't like it. I feel like can't be taken seriously when you keep dropping these same topics on us during election season and claiming suddenly that they mean so much to you. This is what's gross, guys. If you've been waiting, this is what's gross. Come on. This is the Bill Gates thing. Most people already know it. What the heck? I guess I gotta load it again. All right. So anyway, there it goes. Most people already know that Bill Gates paid to have a machine made that turned poop, P-O-O-P, into, yes, drinking water. And he drank it. This ingenious machine turns feces into drinking water by Bill Gates, January 2015. So, how much do you trust a machine to turn your turd into your tea water? Tell me in the comments below. Oh, you think that's bad? Well, I feel really bad for this generation that's coming up in the military. Why? Because our good old friends at DARPA, they never let us down, do they? DARPA wants to make you eat your own trash. Yes, DARPA is coming up with a machine that will turn trash into edible food, which they claim will not be fed to the soldiers. But come on, that's the first people they always do their money saving programs on is their soldiers. And what is this whole agenda leading up to? Well, I have a feeling because there's another thing that's come out at the same exact time as all the rest of this crap recently. And it was a Swedish scientist. We're going to get to him in a second, but you also notice lots of articles like this around, and you start to think, are they trying to tell me that this is normal? Are they trying to tell me that if things get rough, don't feel bad. You're not the first one, or you're not the only one that has to, do that thing. And I'm gonna explain it in a second when it gets finished loading here. But this is a plane flight of a rugby team, and it was 1972, and their plane crashed in the Andes Mountains. And I'm not sure exactly how they were there for 2 months, but I don't know how many of them died. Well, I'll skim it real quick before we get to the last one, which is even grosser. And they ate the dead people to survive. They all did. The ones that lived had to eat the dead people to survive. That was their deal. So it says cannibalism, the ultimate taboo, is what? Surprisingly common. So they tell you that you're not the only one. You wouldn't be the only one. You're not, toads eat toads, spiders eat spiders. And yes, human eat human. No, that's not normal. There is a tribe out in the middle of nowhere who's had very little contact with with any human being from the Western world, or anywhere else for that matter. And they are the only known tribe to still practice cannibalism. Everywhere else, including third world freaking countries, it is a taboo. And yes, animals and insects do it. We are not animals and insects. We have brains that are large and allow us to remember, feel, and have emotions. So basically, this says cannibalism makes perfect evolutionary sense. Wow. It just Anyway, it says it came as a surprise to me that cannibalism was so widespread across nature. Initially, the party line was the only time you would see cannibalism, uh, unless you were dealing with black widow spiders or praying mantises, would be in stress related or due to lack of alternative forms of food. But in the 70s and 80s, yeah, here we go with them telling you exactly how okay it is because it's been going on behind your back for so long. So it's okay, just do it now. The agenda is always there, and we as the people who know about the agenda need to be constantly calling it out. This Swedish scum scientist, just 2 days ago, 4 days ago, for September 8th, 2019, Swedish scientist advocates eating humans to combat climate change. Yes, he did. Hold on, I need to just finish loading it. And do. Come on. Should have known. Swedish scientist. There we go. A scientist in Sweden makes a controversial presentation at a Future of Food conference. Guys, this was just 4 days ago. A behavioral scientist thinks cannibalism of corpses will become necessary due to the effects of climate change. He made a controversial presentation in Sweden during a Future of Food conference in Stockholm. The scientist acknowledges the many taboos this idea would have to overcome. But don't worry, because they've been working on that since what? Like 2004? No, like 1999, with the inconvenient freaking truth all the way up to the documentaries being pushed on Netflix, all the way through these diets that are pushed all over TV by Dr. Oz and these doctors and that doctor, and this is what you should be doing, and nobody ever really does what they feel is right. They're always thinking what someone else said is what, I better look into that. Maybe they're right. That might be better for me. But they just do it because it's working for their friend or it's working for their neighbor. No, like, you don't know what's going on. and if they're having health issues. So you need to know for yourself what's in your food, for your children, for your family, for the people that you are feeding that food to that you care about. And you also need to know the agenda and what their ultimate goal here is. They want us to overcome all morals and values to the point where we may at some point be willing to eat garbage, shit, or even humans. But at least for now, so that it doesn't get that bad, we gotta let you, we gotta eat gene edited food. That's not bad. We gotta do that so that don't ever have to get to the other stuff. And Bill Gates turning water into shit is or shit into water. Sorry, Bill Gates turning shit into water is supposedly for an emergency situation where they're in a third world country with no way to make a water. Yeah, but I'm still not about it, guys. Not about it. Um, Tucker Carlson just did this video the other day. You know how I am about videos. I just want to read to you what he said. I thought it was really hang on. Oh, here we go. Hannibal Lecter, census tried to test me. I ate his liver. Okay, so this is about that Swedish researcher. It says, it talks about the insects thing that I just told you. And it says, we shouldn't be surprised by what happened on Swedish television this week when a researcher called Magnus Soderlund unveiled his plan to fight climate change. According to Soderlund, eating insects isn't enough, though. Cutting greenhouse gas emissions may require us to develop a taste for human flesh. Yes, it's time to practice eco-cannibalism. That's what it was, eco-cannibalism. All right, guys, I've showed you the agenda. I've showed you how they're getting us there, and I've showed you the toxic stuff they are feeding us along the way. It's time for you to start paying attention. I'll see you soon. Take care.